Hello everyone, you're welcome to this edition of The Inside. I am Barrister Jonathan. Today we are looking at what opposition politicians in the Republic of Cameroon qualify as violation of national and international laws protecting civil and political rights in the country. A case in point in this program is the ban on the installation of officials of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM, political party in the far north region of the country. The installation ceremony has been banned twice. First by the divisional officer of Marwa 1 subdivision, who said that there was a risk of confrontation between militants of the CRM political party and the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, a political party that would go a long way to threaten social peace. And then by the divisional officer of Marwa 2 subdivision, who said there was a possibility that the meeting will attract a massive attendance. Meet our guest in some few seconds. Our guest today is Chief Barrister Ndong Christopher. He's the Secretary General of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM, political party. He is also a traditional authority. Chief, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Barrister Jonathan. In fact, I want to thank your viewers, televiewers in their millions, who will be watching this very interesting program in English, and to get actually the insight on the topics that will be raised today. Thank you very much once more. It's a very long time I've appeared in this program, The Insight.
You're welcome.
The last time I enjoyed The Insight.
Right. Now, let's begin with the momentum gathering around the upcoming elections. The massive registration exercise is still going on. We see militants of your party and officials canvassing for registration all over the national territory, and other political parties also, and even the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement is joining the dance, so to speak, of registration, canvassing for registration, inviting people to register. What do you think about this momentum that is gathering around the upcoming election, particularly the presidential election next year?
Thank you, Mr. Barrister Jonathan, for bringing up this topic of registration on the electoral list. In fact, as you rightly put it, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement is at the forefront during this period of registration since January 2024. We had sent out, the National President, Professor Maurice Kamto, have sent out an official communique informing militants, sympathizers, and Cameroonians to go register and be prepared to the elections that are coming up next year, 2025, or before, if it happens to come in 2024, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement is ready. But to start with, our party is seen day in, day out, either in their party gadgets, in their party jackets, calling on Cameroonians, going door to door, marketplaces, the church, all over, making awareness, sensitizing Cameroonians to go and register on the electoral list, because this year is pregnant to 2025. It is pregnant because it's an election period. And the fact that for every Cameroonian to enjoy his civil and political right, you have to register on the electoral list.
Right.
I want to say something, Mr. Jonathan, before you cut me. You were saying other political parties. I will differ a little bit. The other political parties have only come out with their communiques. They are not present on the field. Even the CPDM. No, the CPDM is on the field when it is out to disturb the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, to get Cameroonians to register.
This week we saw Honorable Malis Doualabel, former member of parliament from the CPDM, gathering women and other persons at Parc des Princes in Douala to sensitize them, telling them you need to register, because the voter's card, which comes after registration, is what she calls a citizenship visa, what you must have to be able to perform your civic duties. Now, the fact that militants and officials of the CRM are going from door to door, as you said, is seen as forcing people to register. And that is where the Minister of Territorial Administration comes in and says, no, people are not supposed to be forced. It's an issue of personal will to register and to vote.
You see, the appetite for Cameroonians, especially the youth, to come out in a mass to register has frightened the government. They know that everybody registering now is registering their opposition candidate, opposition voters. They are afraid because the number is swelling. There is, in fact, a security report showing daily registration. And if you see the records of EQUINOXE itself is saying it, that the Cameroon Renaissance movement tops the chart on canvassing for those who have not registered to go and register on electorally. It has frightened the system, the government in place, because for more than 10 years, the government is telling us of an electoral registration number which has never moved from 6, 7 million to anything. Since 10 years, we are only between 5, 6, 7. We went in the presidential election with 6.5 something. Now, today, he's talking all of, with the massive registration that have taken place in millions of Cameroonians who have registered. We are saying that the government is afraid of the petit party politics, the small political party he was talking about. It's afraid of this party registering people, and they know those people will come to vote. The Cameroon Renaissance movement. When you are on the field, the people see you at work. The people buy your ideology. We don't only talk about the registration is the key word, but we equally inform them of our program on how we intend to run this country tomorrow after the government is voted out. And the necessity for people to vote because we want change. We know of the impending problems that are rocking and biting society. High cost of living, high prices, and you find the economy is draining. People are suffering. There are crises here and there, be they social, political, economical. We are suffering in Cameroon, and they know the government have failed. And the only way, they are now buying our policy of changing through peaceful means, changing through the ballot box, changing through elections. They have now seen the truth because neighboring countries have rung the bell into their ears, like Senegal, have shown us that we can win a government and put them aside through elections. So that is why you find this appetite of Cameroonians coming out in their numbers to register, and particularly the youths. That is what is keeping government frightful to come and say that Cameroon. How do you think going to tell a militant in front of his door that the necessity to vote is for us to change the government and the system, and then put a better system and government in place to change the lives of Cameroonians is a threat to a militant? The militants are not complaining. The Cameroonians are not complaining that they have pushed him with force to go and register. Nobody has forced anybody to go and register. It is just the message. And because we go to the sensitive places, the marketplaces, on market days, you see, we go with EQUINOXE. Everywhere we go, we take EQUINOXE. The government will block the Cameroon Renaissance movement from getting the EQUINOXE officials. They do their best to come out, but they give them behind instructions not to follow the massive registration. They start telling us the kids are back. They start telling us the papers are finished. They register people they don't want to give ballot. We have been crying. All these vices we have seen. We now see the CPDM, you say they are registering. They do theirs not openly. Elites of the CPDM in some corners will take EQUINOXE, go to private houses with gendarmes and military authorities to go and safeguard and call people to come and vote, register in private places. It's not done. It is not within the electoral code. The electoral code says all Cameroonians are free to register from the 1st of January, the beginning of the year, to the 31st of August of an election year, or of every given year. But this year, we have started, the people are adhering to the cause because we have gone to their doors. We have gone to places where people assemble. And when the restriction becomes massive, government is afraid because they know the evil, the things that they have done to help the population. We have social problems like lights are lacking in so many places, no potable water.
Those problems are there. Now, we've heard this allegation of elections Cameroon officials not working in favor of the massive registration, not only from you politicians, but even from civil society and political analysts like Aristide Mono, who think that Elections Cameroon is not working, or the officials, some members of that organization, of the institution, are not working in favor of the massive registration. But why will Elections Cameroon not work in favor of massive registration? It is their job to register, and they have been canvassing for votes also.
Exactly. That is what, if you follow the press conference of Professor Maurice Kamto, he accused Elecam for being partisan, taking sides with government not to register Cameroonians who are coming out in their numbers. Because Elecam fits fat from government pocket, government appointed them, they owe allegiance to government. You see, even territorial administration minister and duos, mayors and officials of government warning and taking off Elecam on the field. Cover your machines and leave this place. We can even see in videos that have gone viral, the mayors are driving away Elecam officials. Elecam should stand its grounds, and because Elecam, the officials, the local officials work on instructions of their bosses at the region of the subdivision, the division.
What are the facts? What are the facts, Barrister, that you have to substantiate what you're saying now? Mayors, which of the administrative authorities chased away Elections Cameroon, and where?
I want to tell you very clearly, the case in point of a mayor is the one of Yaoundé 7. He came and drove away Cameroonians, pretending that CRM cannot come to his place with strangers to come and register. They were not strangers. The man did not show us who was the stranger. He has no right to come and stop Elecam to register Cameroonians. Cameroonians have been driven in one part of the country, the northwest, southwest, to other regions of this country, and these are the people who want to, in fact, get registered and vote. Even those who have come of age. You know, after the 2018 presidential election, there are so many Cameroonians from 2018 to 2024. Many have crossed 20 or 20. And those people are the people who want to register and enjoy their civic and political rights. So you cannot come as a mayor to say that you don't want Elecam to register. And of course, stamping his hand, telling them that he cannot be frightened by Cameroon Renaissance movement. Elecam is doing its regalian task. Why do you come and disturb the operation that the Electoral Code confers on Elecam? You see, this is abuse of power. Now, secondly, the divisional officer for the extreme north, Marwa 1 and 2, is a case in point. We want to hold our political meeting. This meeting is to install officials of our party, the Cameroon Renaissance movement, which we have carried out internal elections in that part of the country, and we want to make a meeting to put these people in public, and so that even the administrative authorities will know our officials there, because the same administrative authorities, the same CPDM government says it's a small political party, they are not represented anywhere. But we have gone almost round the country. We have only 2 regions left that we have not actually gone out for our elections, which is the Northwest and the Southwest. We have done elections in all 8 regions.
We'll come back to...
we have both officials of the party that operate in the Northwest and
We'll
Southwest.
come back to what happened in the far north region in Marwa shortly in greater details. But for now, I want us to look at this massive registration exercise from another perspective, notably the fact that you have succeeded to convince quite a good number of persons who had become pessimistic, hopeless, and were just at a point where they thought that nothing can change in this country. No vote can change anything. No ballot box can change anything. But you have succeeded to change that, to reverse that trend of thought. But there are still some who are still at that extreme position and who think that all this registration thing is going to end at registration, and at the end of the day, President Paul Biya, if he stands, he will still win, and we will still continue in the status quo. What else would you say to convince these other persons this group who are still at that extreme position, who think that nothing can change in this country with the present system.
Thank you, Mr. Barrister. Even Jesus Christ that came on earth did not succeed in convincing everybody to be a Christian. There are those who decided to be Muslims who are still Christians, and Christians in the sense of Christianity. I'm saying that it is impossible. Cameroon Nations Movement cannot say it has convinced everybody. But thank God you have made your evaluation and is informing Cameroonians, as I'm going to inform them now, that 90% of Cameroonians are aware. They are aware that the only way to take away this government from the place where they are is to massively register and massively vote. The new message we have carried to Cameroonians, which has given them hope and now the courage, is that you don't only vote and go back home. You vote, you control your vote, you make sure you defend that vote, and make sure the results that are being pronounced on the polling day in the polling stations should not change tomorrow. It should be the same results that were delivered on the polling station. Because take, for instance, a polling station A, 500 people voted, and CRM had 400. 10, 20, the other political parties. They'll give you a report of the election process. The result will be announced publicly after 6 p.m. We shall have it. We continue to announce that we have won in that place. Nobody will stop us from doing that, because the code says election results should be announced on the polling day in the various polling stations.
But you also know, you also know that the publication of trends is forbidden.
That one, those are laws that are in fact controversial. You cannot say one thing and say another thing in the same process. You cannot tell me, proclaim results in this polling station with all the actors on the polling station. You turn around again, you say, I should not say we won in that polling station because I'm waiting for somebody. I must tell people that we won. It remains there, and there is no way you can take it away from a Cameroonian. Dear Cameroonians, listen, pronounce, get their results in the polling station, continue to sing it until the day the final results, pronunciation by the Constitutional Council will be announced. From there, we shall judge between the lies,
Barrister,
the fraud that will be done.
Barrister, your illegal mind.
This second aspect of saying that Cameroonians have no right to pronounce results that are coming from the polling station, in fact, is another thing which is different from the first law. The second law is struggling to shadow the third. And the government will want to press hard on the second law that they should not announce. Why? What will you take away from me when I know the results?
But Barrister, you can
we will pronounce until we wait for the official results.
You can be accused of inciting Cameroonians to violate the laws of the land.
When it comes to local election, there is no incitation, because the results are known in the polling station. The candidate is there. He has won. He is jubilating. You cannot stop people from jubilating. You cannot stop Cameroonians from saying that they won. That is one thing I should tell you. Cameroonians stand for your rights. Nobody should intimidate you. You have won, you have won.
But Barrister,
if you have not won, be sincere that you have not won. We shall accept defeat wherever we are defeated. We shall, in fact, announce our victories wherever we are victorious.
There is something, Barrister, there is something that appears to be like cotton in the ears of some Cameroonians today, hindering them from accepting this message that you're passing on. What can be considered as a contradiction in your messages? Because earlier on, we know that the CRM political party said we are not going for any election until the Anglophone crisis is solved, until the electoral code is revised. But these things have not happened. The Anglophone crisis is still there. The electoral code has not been revised. And with the same electoral code, you are assuring Cameroonians now that they should go, we are going to win.
Mr. Babla Jonathan, the right to go for an election is a democratic right. The right not to go to election is a democratic right. As to why we did not go for elections, we had explained to Cameroonians. They are perfectly in accordance with our abstention from going into these elections. And that move we have made shall pay off in the next elections.
Yeah, but the issue is what is known as inconsistency in your message.
Cameroonians are not bothered about why we didn't go for election because they already know why we didn't go for election. They are those detractors, those who we are fighting, who are in power, who bring those confused messages to Cameroonians. Cameroonians are really matured enough to know that the decision for this Cameroon Renaissance movement not to go in for that election was a matured one. Yes, we went in when the code is the same as it shall be in 2025. We have been fighting. We have made proposals with a group of other political leaders, made proposals for the amelioration of the electoral code. Consensually, government does not want to apply it. Now, they don't want to change it. We have now taken out other measures, other tactics, other strategies to go in for these elections and be able to come out victorious with the same code. Because in 2018, Professor Maurice Kamto won the presidential election with the same code. But the elections, all Cameroonians know, were stolen, taken with force. And they suppressed us until our militants have been jailed from 2, 3, 5, 7 years. They are still in prison. Some have come out because they were expressing the fact that they won this election, it was stolen. So keeping those people in prison does not mean they committed any crime. Professor Alain Fogue is there for committing no crime. Bibum Nisak is in prison for committing no crime. Zambwe Pascal is there for committing no crime. And the others. We already have now left more than 50 persons jailed illegally without any palpable reasons. And those people who decided to use the orders from the high instructions to imprison people who are not criminals, in fact, posterity will judge them tomorrow. But our militants are still in prison because of their political opinion,
they have been
which is a democratic right.
They have been calls from within Cameroon and from outside Cameroon for their liberation, but till now, they are still being detained. Those calls are falling on deaf ears.
Yes, it is not on deaf ears. It has entered the ears of those who have to do it. They have vehemently refused not to do it because they think these people should remain there. They are the people, including those outside, that gives them the strongest headache. But they thought they will amputate the Cameroon Renaissance movement by arresting those people and the party will dwindle. But on the contrary, they are in prison, we are on. The party is up and strong. It is moving. It is in every nooks and corner, every nooks and cranny. The people have read our program. We have given our political program, which is read and has been, in fact, applauded by international organizations as one of the best political programs they have seen in this country. Other political parties come out with that programs. When they come, Cameroonians don't know the program of other political parties. That the political parties, for example, of the CPDM is the head of state. That's their political program.
No, they have a political program.
They don't have. They don't have. If they have the political program, they should apply it as they are ruling Cameroon. It has failed. They have a failed political business for Cameroon.
In one of the press statements, recent press statements of the national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, he said that he is ready to pay even the ultimate price. The CRM is ready even for the worst to bring about the change, especially at the helm of the state. The change that many Cameroonians are desiring today, according to what they have been telling us in different interviews. And this statement has been interpreted as a plan to orchestrate chaos in the country. We heard the president of the National Assembly talked about it, referring to some political leaders as, he put it in French, les zibous. Les zibous, what we call wishbirds. What is commonly known in Cameroon as wishbirds.
Owls.
Owls.
Yes. So let me tell you, Professor Maurice Kamto have suffered. He has been in prison for nothing that he did. Just because they want to quiet him down because he was crying for a stolen victory. He went and suffered more than 9 months in prison for nothing. He is out. He comes out, a minister will stand and tell you he is a Molinex. You people have nothing to say about it. He will send bees, les abeilles. You people have said nothing. Anybody who can will meet iron, fire. You people have said nothing. And then you meet CPDM militants who say, if Cameroon Renaissance Movement win the election, presidential election again, Maurice Kamto wins the presidential, wins the presidential election again. In fact, he's calling on the military to take over this country. 2 of them, not even only 1. It's not a mistake. It is what the government is planning to do. That is revolution. He is calling on the government to revolt, to bring unrest in this country, because they know they didn't win the presidential election. I'm not saying it is me talking. I am quoting them. If Professor Maurice Kamto wins, the CRM wins the presidential elections again, the military should take over. That is more than what Kamto said. Because of all of this, these painful words, they make and talk as if Cameroonians are foolish, stupid people. We are very intelligent, and we want to do politics differently. We'll do it peacefully. We have given them peace. CPDM is getting tired with the peace we are pumping them with. They have disturbed us in our public meetings left and right. We are still peaceful. We do all what they want. They are still peaceful. If you look at the recent outing,
but your words, you're peaceful, but your words seem to incite violence. Seems to orchestrate chaos.
I'm coming to fight you.
The president of the National Assembly, for example,
I'm coming to fight you with the military. I'm coming to fight you with guns. I'm coming to fight you. If you dare stare out, you will see wonders. I will deal with you. Maurice Kamto said, if that is what you people are planning to create the disorder in this country, we too shall stand up, because when you fight a fight and your back is on the wall, the only thing, no matter how weak you are, you will forge a little bit ahead to resist. Or that is what we'll call legitimate defense. The legitimate defense, we don't have an army.
If they orchestrate violence, the CRM will join the violence.
Maurice Kamto said
the CRM will respond with violence. Is that what you're saying?
Maurice Kamto said if government brings violence through its police and gendarmes, what the Cameroonian people will reply them, those who will be living will rule this country. Those who will die in the process will have died. So he is prepared to make sure on that day, if they try again to do the wrong thing, violating the law, the constitution, international instrument, and doing things as if we cannot talk, we are dead people, we'll tell them that we are sitting up and we are alive. So no matter how it is, let them respect the electoral code. Let them respect the registration and leave political parties to carry out their activities peacefully. Why are they disturbing the Cameroon Renaissance Movement in carrying out its activities?
But Barrister, you know,
in a house, they ban it.
Barrister, you know
that all our public outings.
Barrister, you know the saying.
Except for some few.
You know the saying that violence begets violence.
We are not violent.
Yes, that is true. But telling Cameroonians to respond to violence by violence.
A violent troop that will come when we are marching peacefully, the reactions are instantaneous. It's automatic. We have never preached violence. In all our preaching to Cameroonians worldwide, we have been preaching peace, and we have been practicing peace. We have shown them that we are peaceful. They stole our elections. We wanted to march. They break our arms. They did a sort of things. They disarm people. Some died in prison. We are peaceful. We have not taken up arms. We have not called the army to come and support us. We have not called the police to come let us fight with a gun. We have conversed no gun with anybody. The Cameroon Renaissance Movement believe on the ballot box, and that is our path to victory.
The path to ballot box. All right.
To get this election and change this system.
All right. Let's take a look at what the newspapers reported this week in Cameroon, the press review.
We begin with The Voice Weekender, 2025 presidential election. Atanganji reinvigorates crackdown threat. The paper reports that Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration has not showed any signs of relenting in its determination to stifle contrary opinion at the advent of the upcoming presidential polls. It goes further to say the new famous Interior Ministry boss, Paul Atanganji, has reaffirmed his regime's resolve to check with a heavy hand any gesticulations by opposition political entities that could lead to a possible unseating of the government in place. In the same vein, Newswatch says Atanganji fires warning shots at Kamto, says anyone trying to disrupt electoral process shall be dealt with squarely. Newswatch further reports that the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has warned politicians calling for the disruption of the forthcoming presidential election should their bid be rejected to desist or be ready to face the full weight of the law. The Minat boss told a press conference in Yaoundé on Tuesday, March 4, that an opposition politician who had previously been detained and released thanks to President Paul Biya, widely known as a fair play politician, referring to Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, has been threatening to destabilize the country if he is not candidate at the October 2025 vote. The Median puts forth the question: 2025 presidential election, Joshua Osi, political spoiler or serious contender for president? Opposition SDF party last week confirmed its national chairman, Honorable Chief Osi Joshua Nabangi, as its candidate for the upcoming presidential election, and political speculators wasted no time to note that Osi may just be out to play the spoiler in favor of the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) and to the disfavor of any serious contender that may emerge from the opposition. On the front page of Larry Times, Northwest Governor Adovlele Lafrique celebrates gradual return of normalcy in the Ngokutunja division, while Municipal Updates reports that the Minister of Decentralization has offered President Paul Biya's relief to flood victims in the Logon and Shari division in the far north region of Cameroon. The Post-Weekender, welcome to Yaoundé, Cameroon's garbage political capital. The paper highlights the poor hygienic state of the town, with heaps of garbage littering the streets. According to another issue of Municipal Updates, the Bekoko Limbe Idinao Road works will soon begin. And Cameroon Tribune projects First Lady Chantal Biya leading the celebration of the 2025 International Women's Day. In the same perspective, the Guardian Post says fabrics shouldn't conceal the marginalization of Cameroonian women. In an editorial, the paper says, despite the fact that women are a majority in Cameroon and competing favorably with their male counterparts in education, business, and other professions, they remain marginalized in political leadership. A report on gender equality in Cameroon by Gender Standby Capacity Project indicates that half of the female population lives below the poverty line, whereas only a quarter of men do. The inequality is equally reflected in the ownership of assets, with only 3% of Cameroonian women owning a house. Again, a study of April 2021 titled Democratization and Political Advancement of Women in Cameroon by Dr. Steve Kameton and Vanessa Abudi noted that despite the existence of numerous texts and a slight increase in women's representation in political bodies, it appears that practice consolidates social prejudices that keep women in a position of the weaker sex and a perpetual struggle for affirmation. The Ultimate tells its readers about outstanding Coupe Maninkuba women, while another issue of the Guardian Post projects women breaking barriers in sports. That's it for the press review today.
That's it for the press review. Now to Marwa in the far north region of the country, where the installation of officials of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement was banned 2 times. First by the divisional officer of Marwa 1 subdivision, and then secondly by the divisional officer of Marwa 2 subdivision. Barrister Ndong Christopher, tell us what happened in Marwa. Why were these 2 ceremonies. Was the ceremony banned twice? The divisional officers highlighted some reasons with regards to public peace and the possibility of massive attendance of that meeting. Tell us more about what exactly happened. Did the party fulfill all the conditions to organize that meeting?
Mr. Babla Jonathan, honestly, you cannot take a political party and Cameroonians for foolish people. I want to tell you that even if a law is as difficult as what, the conditions are very simple. The law is clear on public meetings and public manifestations. It says you have to address your application for a public meeting. A public meeting is that which you hold within a confine. We applied for a public meeting to hold in the first state with the divisional officer for Marwa 1. He said he cannot allow it because he's afraid that other political parties or other people will bring problem and there will be trouble. He did not say we will bring trouble. We are the ones applying. Why do you take somebody who wants to bring problem to implant onto us? We are not a problem party. You are asking for the conditions. What other conditions? Should we carry a woman and go and give the sous-prefect before he will give us a meeting? Authorize that we hold our meeting? The law says we should pass through him. We have applied. He says he sees that there will be trouble. He is the guarantor of peace and order. Police, gendarme, army is under his. Let him now give the security to make sure those who will bring problem to people who are peaceful should be pushed away. He just summarizes because all of this tells you how they are not free. You cannot tie the hands of a sous-prefect, the administration, meaning the government, the Minister of Territorial Administration, the presidency. They have tied all the hands of these people. And then you expect them to clap. Mr. Jonathan, if they tie a hand and ask you to clap, can you clap? That is why the people look for flimsy excuses, which is not tenable in the eye, in the ears of anybody. We have been holding our meetings without any problem. They will attribute all sorts of things that do not reflect our vision, our motives. We want to hold a meeting. We have conducted election within that region. There was no problem. The thing that can bring problem is elections. We succeeded and did an election in the whole of the extreme north. Now we want to present to you our officials. You say we should not present the officials to the public. Inside a meeting, a hall, you deny. Tomorrow you turn and say the party, political party, the petit parti politique, on les voit où? Where will we see them? Where do they even operate? They are nowhere. But we are everywhere. We have been telling you we are everywhere. Let us now show them. They are afraid. You ban for those flimsy reasons. But CPDM the next day is holding a meeting. Okay, by a question I want to ask you. So it is only CPDM that is intelligent in this country that have read that law and is fulfilling the condition. Mr. Jonathan, what is the condition we have not fulfilled? And we respect the institutions as our cardinal point, as one of our great pillars of the 5 pillars we have for governance in this country. The first is respect for public institutions and their authorities.
The Minister of Territorial Administration said you are doing the reverse. He cited Professor Maurice Kamto and Cabral Libi as people, political leaders who are disrespecting the head of state and institutions.
The Minister of Territorial Administration, I will say it here, is the #1 disorderly person within the ranks of political parties. He has disordered PCRN. They are on fire. He has tried to disorder Cameroon Independence Movement. It has not worked. The Ndokis, the Tamfus, the Nutak, we know those people who have tried to destabilize the CRM. It has not worked. We are there. We have, in fact, the ideologies are clear in our head. We are going for a cause, and we know that cause. We are working towards it. There is no need for me to leave a better team to go to a bad team. So they are fighting to do everything to destabilize political parties. They have succeeded in the UPC. They tried with Kawalai. These are track records. So if I say the Minister of Territorial Administration is the one bringing disorder, these are the examples. Nobody can dispute that. So now, to say that a political party wants to hold a public meeting, a private meeting, is disorder, according to you. Can you cite one case of a Cameroon movement meeting, the ones that we have managed and they have struggled out of shame, accepted that we have held? Have you heard that one, there was disorder, one, there was one man who died, two, somebody break his leg, or there was fighting? Have you heard? We are 12 years in existence.
The administrative authorities are authorized by the law to either say, no, this meeting cannot hold because there is a threat to public peace. But
those are statements. Those are statements. You are behaving like a Ngambi man, like a soothsayer. We have done other things. Those things have not happened. Why can't you take us an example? People who do their things peacefully. Why do you read the future?
In that they said there was a risk of confrontation between militants of your party and the ruling CPD.
I have heard you. I have said, let that administrative authority that has the police, the gendarme, and the army come to that place where we are, as they used to come and surround us. Are you clear? To tell those troubadours, those troublemakers, not to come near the area and we hold our meeting. If the Marwa man said, they are the militants of Cameroon Renaissance movement who have come and met him and said they are going to burn down if Kamto come there. They are going to fight if they come to hold installation of the CRM. But he tells you that because they said there will be trouble, how does he know there will be trouble? I have asked you the question. Why does he allow CPDM to hold his own meeting and does not fear that we will go and disturb? If we have disturbed CPDM one day from the meeting, look at a violent party. If we have disturbed UPC one day in their meeting, say, look at the violent party, or PCRN, everybody, we have allowed everybody to enter the terrain and walk.
Maybe he's seeing that your militants, the militants of the CRM, will not disturb in case of a meeting of the CPDM, but the reverse is not true for the CPDM. We saw Honorable O.C. Joshua somewhere in the south, prevented by persons dressed in CPDM uniforms, prevented from getting into some areas during his tour. We saw that happening.
That the people who were prevented were CPDM people prevented, or CPDM people prevented the people of Joshua Oshi.
Persons with CPDM uniform prevented the convoy of Honorable Osi from getting into some areas of the south.
In the same line.
So probably the GO may be foreseeing this kind of thing happening in Marwa, especially when the GO of Douala of Marwa 2, talks about a massive attendance.
Mr. Babila Jonathan, those are deviations. Those are things to distract Cameroonians. Those guys who came there. So you mean to say that there are no police people in that place? There are no gendarmes there. I have seen CPDM people dressed in public in their tradition, in their party uniform, block the road. That is, confront security officers. They stood there, they were watching. Helpless. Security officers of all. I've seen it. CPDM have done worse than political parties. What have they done to them? They created the xenophobia in the South region. What have the government done to them? There are a lot of things we can name. Peaceful people have come. The divisional officers of those areas, they don't see the acts of the CPDM. They even, a chief of the South insulted a SDO, senior divisional officer, told him that nothing will pass. We saw it, they are CPDM people. So when they are fighting, they are fighting inside them. We have nothing to say. We are only saying we have a political plan, political agenda, and political activity. Allow us do peacefully our activity. If you see, of all political parties in this country, the CRM is the worst hated by both the opposition parties with whom we should join hands and be fighting, and the government. They all hate us for what reasons we don't know. Because we are carrying out our activities daily. Cameroonians have seen in us a veritable political party that can take over this government and then bring the lasting peace and solution to this country. You put a question which I've just slipped my memory, that we were going for election, we were talking that the crisis in Northwest, Southwest should be stopped. It is a way to call on government to bring them to their senses if they are senseless or they have forgotten that we cannot be doing election when our brothers of the Northwest and Southwest are in conflict. The solution is you bring these people to a round table, do the talks, and then quell down the armed groups both on government side and the fighters, and then bring peace so that they too can participate in the one Cameroon that we are talking about, the united Cameroon we are talking about. But you will come to see the CPDM will stop Cameroon Renaissance Movement from marching on 20 May. Unity Day. It's a unity day. You not disunite some people and you think you are marching for unity. You cannot be talking something and practicing the vice. We are saying the government is inconsistent, does not respect the law. They do outings which are contradictory. Cameroonians are only watching at them like this. The only thing they have is the state power. The only thing they have is suppression. The only thing they have is only to send police and gendarmes. And since the police and gendarmes and the military themselves, in fact, I'm sorry to say this, do not think, they just execute any orders. You can sit up and say, no, this order, let's revisit this order. This man has done nothing wrong. Why do I go and disturb him? Mr. Government, look at it, let them do their thing, they are not harmful. The military, the police and gendarmes are there for harmful activities. They are not there for disturbing peaceful people. CPDM will march on occasions, they deny the other people. What Cameroon do they want to build? A Cameroon of division? They bring tribalism, they are at top to promote tribalism. They will turn and say it's the CRM. They see the bureau of the CRM is a representative of all the 10 regions. You will see them come on television and start shouting, oh, it's tribalistic. Tribalistic in which sense? Recently, Professor Maurice Kamto came out with a decision appointing people to complete the bureau of the party. Some people came out, some dictators. Oh, they have 24 Bamileke there. Do you know the other tribes who were there? They said there was no Anglophone. I am an Anglophone talking to you, Mr. Jonathan. I'm the Secretary General. Since the creation of this party, I am an Anglophone. We have Anglophone in the National Bureau. We have them in the appointment that Professor Maurice Kamto made. But the people will not see that. Anyhow, I will not blame them. They don't know. Because if they did their findings, where they will now be coming out with those very stupid and foolish declarations.
Just to put this straight, in the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, we have armed groups on one hand, and then, I mean, in the armed conflict, strictly speaking, there is, we have the armed groups on the other hand, and then we have the military on the other side, and not armed groups on the government side, so to speak, in order to be very clear on that. Except we are saying that you are saying that there are armed groups on the side of the government because there were allegations of militias, government militias.
Wait, let me tell you, the exactions, that is the atrocities committed by Moja, is it not on government side? That is just one. Is it not on government side? Let me not talk the rest. I just give you that.
No,
he was again arrested by the same government. Released very fast. If it were an Anglophone, not on government side, you only hear he has been chained, he is in Kondengi prison, he is sick, they cannot even cure him, they will tag him to be a terrorist. Is that man not a terrorist? Recently I saw him tied a man in his house, parlor, beating with a machete. A government sits and see. And the other things he did, killed 2 boys or 3 like that in Boya, in Munya there, the entrance to out of Munya. We all saw it. We have been seeing what he is doing. Is he not on government side?
He has been dismissed from the Rapid Intervention Battalion.
Please,
he's been investigated
that is not dismissal.
Over the
please, Mr. Jonathan, you journalists misinform people. It is not dismissal. He was taken and put to act within that corps. He has been taken back to his original ministry. That is where he is. It is not dismissal.
No, he is not. He's no longer part of the. He's no longer part of the Rapid Intervention Battalion.
Agree with me. It's not dismissal.
He has been sent back to
where he belongs.
To his corps
because
of
it's excessive when he thinks they do things and go free, and he has successfully gone free.
Yes,
we see him there. Is it the opposition that is doing it?
Yeah, he has been that's some
is it the opposition that is doing it?
That's to say that government is against what he has been doing. He has been removed from the Rapid Intervention Battalion
that went on Gabu
and sent back to the
military. Isn't it a military wing of an armed group in the military wing? The Gabu killings, the assassination of a journalist. I talk of Wazizi, my brother there in Boya. What have they said? Francophone, Look at Martinez Ogo. Up to now, they are dancing around. The real people are out. The wrong people are inside. But as a jurist, I want to see the course of justice, and justice is taking its course, but it is with the wrong people.
All right, going back to what happened in Marwa, political activities, political gatherings, rights that are enshrined in national and international legal instruments duly signed and ratified by Cameroon. For example, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights talk about civil and political rights recognized in the Charter, including the right to freedom from discrimination, that is Article 218, sub 3, yes. And then the right to equality in Article 3. But these rights seem not to be taken into consideration, seem not to be respected when we see what is happening.
Cameroonians have read, they have learned in the universities all these instruments, be they of the African Charter, be they of the European Charter, be they of the United Nations Charter. It is there. Cameroon government, Paul Biya Ahidjo, have ratified all of these charters, but they are not applied. The government is instead practicing the opposite. Because you cannot imagine the Cameroon Renaissance movement, after signing this, that we are free to carry out our political activities, are being stopped from doing it. But when Kona wants to hold his convention with not up to 100 people, it is given authorization.
He himself is
suffering
the same fate.
These laws,
in Marwa, so
these laws and instruments,
you have to move to Girigidis.
These laws and instrument does not does work well with the political party of Kona, that of Cabra, no, that of CRM, no, that of SDF, no, and others. Only CPDM, Kona, it might be UNDP, MDR, and all the like, the bedfellows of the CPDM. That is when they read well these laws. But when we come, they read the other side of the law that is planted in their own heads, is written nowhere, that it will cause public order, public peace. What do you mean by that? I'm telling you, will come to power and scrape that nonsense. You want to hold your meeting, you take your responsibility. Anything that comes out of that meeting, you are held responsible, the person who applied for. So you will be responsible for security. But we will not leave you alone. We will send the security officer to make sure there are no excesses. That is what government should do within the ambit of those laws.
That is what...
Not that the law did not say, all the laws you have read, they have not said. People want to hold a meeting, you say, you suspect that that meeting can transform to a giga meeting. If a people love something, allow them to express their love for it. If people hate you, accept it. It is in that charter. It's because you don't work for the people. They are all afraid of what? Right now, the CPDM is only planted on stealing the elections. They have started by registration and blocking Cameroonians not to register. They have done all the techniques and tactics against these very instruments you have cited. Nobody is carrying his head up. They have taken them to the law because it's even the worst. You will never hear judgment against government for this violation. We have filed a suit against the mayor of Yaoundé, this. Nothing. We filed that, others that we have filed against government. That of Kabaya Yagejribi, before the presidential election, that trampled and did all of the atrocities it did on CRM. The case has gone nowhere. There are others. I will cite more than 10 cases we have in court. That has never been read. The one of Masanga Nyamdi for defamation and the rest. Can you imagine the justice system in this country tells us that they don't have the identification of Masanga Nyamdi? But if it's Maurice Kamto, they will appear the very next second. Any policeman know the identity of Maurice Kamto, of CRM. They don't know that of Masanga Nyamdi. That case has not gone anywhere because they are unable to identify Masanga Nyamdi, which is every day on television. Yaoundé, Boya, France, all over. They cannot identify the others because they know if they do it, it will be killing their own ranks.
Right,
but if it's Cameroon Renaissance movement, you will see them coming out. Just get out from this studio, go and stand on the street. Oh, Kamto is coming in 5 minutes. You will see this place will be dark. Dark here with security officers until you will be shocked. Just call the name Maurice Kamto. This Carrefour will be dark. I was sick. I had an accident. Professor Maurice Kamto comes to visit his Secretary General. News when security news came up. The whole of Ecole de Post at the petrol station there was dark with gendarme. What is the problem? Because Kamto is in that area. You now begin to tell me why will Atangaji not behave the way he's behaving? Why would the ministers not behave the way they are behaving? Why?
Let's take interviews.
It's because
of the
people
week,
have taken
right
course
now.
with Maurice Kamto and the Cameroon Renaissance movement. We are on top.
All right, interviews of the week.
Every 3 months, we conduct opinion polls on our platform, English Cameroon for United Cameroon. We want to know the trends in political developments in Cameroon. The last week, we conducted a poll for March. About 700 people participated. We used their regional and political affiliation to weight the results so that they can better reflect the demographic of Cameroon. We also considered 6 configurations of 15 candidates, 13 opposition, 1 CPDM, and 1 generic unknown candidate. The 6 CPDM candidates were the incumbent Mr. Paul Biya, Joseph Diongote, Marafa Amidou Yaya, Alamin Usman May, Philemon Yang, and Malachi Manaoda. The results are interesting. We focus on the first 3 positions because that's where the vast number of the votes go. In all 6 configurations, Mr. Kamto is the winner with about 55 to 57%. In 5 configurations, Mr. Cabral Libi is in the 2nd position with the CPDM candidate in the 3rd position. That includes the configuration in which Mr. Paul Biya is in the 3rd position with about 10.8%, while Mr. Cabral Libi is ahead with about, with about 12 point something percent. But there is one configuration in which the CPDM candidate, namely Mr. Joseph Diongote, who is the most competitive CPDM candidate, is in the 2nd position with about 14 point something percent, while Mr. Cabral Libi has about 11.4%. So these are the results. We can see from this result that the CPDM is in a very difficult position because it is not as competitive as one would think. The CPDM has missed an opportunity last year. They could have organized their party congress, nominated a new candidate, adopted a series of very attractive reforms such as federalism. They failed to do so. It's too late now. They are stuck with Mr. Paul Biya, and Mr. Paul Biya is unlikely to score up to 20%. His score seems to be limited in that range. Therefore, it seems that what the CPDM is going to try to do is to stop these 2 candidates, Mr. Maurice Kamto and Mr. Cabral Libi, from becoming presidential candidates. It is up to us, the people, to make sure that this does not happen. For politics to work for the people of Cameroon, we must always encourage competition among the parties. We must fight to make sure that on the ballot in October, we have Maurice Kamto, Cabral Libi, the CPDM, and other candidates. That's how we can make politics work for us. Thank you.
Women should remind themselves. Women should educate or re-educate themselves. Women should increase their understanding. Women should increase their awareness as to how far they've come and how far they have to go. The International Women's Day is a moment for women to understand or increase their understanding and awareness that the responsibility is first and foremost theirs, because they have the state which is there, that the state with all its laws, beginning with the Constitution, the state with all the institutions that are there, the state with the leaders of the state, beginning with the head of state and all the others, and the government of the state or of the republic, which are there as references, as protections or as frameworks for them to be able to seize the opportunity, seize every moment, and show the world what they are worth, what they can do, what they are capable of doing. They can be anything. Any function in the world, head of state, ministers, prime ministers, head of the legislature, head of the executive, the judiciary branch, parliamentarians, senators, mayors, regional councillors. A great majority of the Cameroonians in the diaspora are very good, respectable, respectful, achieving people, men and women. They are good people, they are rational people, they are reasonable people, and they are high achievers. They work hard and they love their country. That's the great majority of these 4 to 5 million Cameroonians. But it's unfortunate that we have a very small minority, very small number of mostly young Cameroonians in the diaspora who either for reasons of frustrations or grievances or failures or whatever have decided to take it upon themselves to defy the laws of the countries in which they are, in this case the country of Belgium, to defy the conventions of the world, to defy and violate the dignity of fellow human beings, not to talk of their compatriots, by engaging in a sort of deviant thuggery, or violating the dignity of fellow human beings. In this case, a Cameroonian official minister. By that act, not only have they violated the United Nations conventions, they have violated even the European human rights conventions, they violated even the Belgian constitution itself, and of course they violated the Cameroonian constitution, they violated Cameroonian norms. So they have totally, this is deviance, this is thuggery, this is unnecessary violence, this is criminal, and they've done all that. And it's unfortunate because they don't have to do that.
You welcome back. Those were interviews of the week. Chief Barrister Ndong Christopher. You listen to Cameroon-born Dr. Ita Ewane, Professor of Political Science at the Karlsruhe International University in Germany, saying that Africa can change the course of things. Cameroon can change the course of things, can change leadership, can have true democracy being practiced in Cameroon and elsewhere on the African continent.
Except that the whole of the African continent is being parabined by Europe, America, and the world leaders. Most, and of course, all African countries have colonial masters. These are the people that perturbed the democracy, the change of leadership in Africa. And we are saying very few African countries have taken up the challenge to shove aside these colonial masters and tell them it is time up. And you find them putting up their leaders. Who are those leaders democratically elected? You have some democratically elected, you have some militarily imposed, and they are doing well. You have others who have tied themselves on seats in Africa. As the barrister was saying, you have leaders who do not want to leave the seats. They want to die on seats. And this is the problem in Africa. Democracy is still a myth in Africa. You see what happened in Senegal. It was the people's power. The African continent, its people and its youths should seize up the challenge and copy the Senegal example. It was the youths that came up and changed the dynamics and put the young president that you see there. It was not the old people. The old participated too when they discovered that the youths have decided to seize the sovereignty and make it possible for a youth to govern them. If these other African countries who are having elections that are coming up, do not follow the Senegal example, the African stalemate will still be there. Those old leaders will still be there. They will always be multiplying themselves till death do them part. That seat is stuck on their buttocks. So we are saying Cameroon is a case in point. We have only 1 more year and months for other elections to make sure the youths should come out massively, register on the electoral list, come out and vote out the system. Because if we vote en masse against the government, the margin will be so wide and shameful that they cannot rig. And if they rig, it will be something that people will shout and the world will hear. Because if all of us come and vote against the CPDM, who is the cause of all our problems in this country, and of course, even the white man will have nothing to do. Because right now, they have only the military option. As these elections are coming, the military option to take over through power through militarily. No, we say it will not work in this country. The military, our military is very intelligent. I want to praise our military. They are very intelligent. They are watchful. They are observing. They are seeing. They are seeing the political tension, and they know which side to belong. If they turn around to maintain the junta, good and fine. Because I want to say one thing here. This is anyhow, I withdraw the junta. They are seeing what is happening with the undemocratic method of governance in this country. And they are only using high instructions to torpedo democracy and maintain dictatorship. We are saying a majority of them now are beginning to understand. And I want to thank the military for its patience and that they are watching, and tomorrow they should take the right decision. They should not be forced to do the wrong thing. They too should have a say and say, no, here like this is the truth, and we must follow the path to the truth. So we should not only follow things because we want to follow. The military can be enjoying today, but they should know that tomorrow they can enjoy better. It is not because the man who is there is protecting their interests that the man should remain forever. No. We need
an opinion poll carried out by civil society organization English Cameroon for United Cameroon puts your president, the president of your political party, Professor Maurice Kamto, at the strongest position to win the election next year.
Yes, I saw that opinion poll, and in fact, it was a true reflection of the political situation in this country. The CPDM, honestly, Cameroonians no longer want the CPDM government. Cameroonians no longer want to see them continue in this misery, underdevelopment, and all of that. They want to see a new set of people to rule Cameroon. And by that opinion poll, they have sampled it. The Cameroon Renaissance Movement leader, Professor Maurice Kamto, who has all the qualities that it takes to become the president of this republic, his program that has been bought by Cameroonians, and people are now hungry to see him take power. They are waiting, and they shall vote him. That opinion poll is very correct. I saw this opinion poll sometimes back after the presidential election, where you see the results were tight. Even though we were on top, but below 50. And he made it. We were very quiet. We said we appreciated. Today he has come, it has climbed. It is now the Cameroonians, their opinion, everybody is saying this Cameroon Renaissance Movement is the best political party that can rule this country, giving its program, giving its leaders, and the leader at the head, Professor Maurice Kamto. That is what is keeping the government shivering. And right. They are dangling from left to right, not knowing what to do.
Chief Barrister Ndong Christopher, Secretary General of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party. Thank you so much for your time and for the insights you have shared with us in this edition of The Insight.
Thank you, Mr. Babila Jonathan. I want to call on all Cameroonians. We have 9 months left. Go and register on elections agencies. If they don't come to you, go to their offices. Register. Take your receipt. And on the election day, vote, control, and defend your vote. Announce your victory without fear or favor. Don't fear anything. Announce your victory.
That's it for today's edition of the program. You can follow the program on our social media handles, Facebook and YouTube. You can also follow the rebroadcast of the program on Friday at 5 p.m. Thank you so much for being with us. Goodbye.